dawn talking with a missionary from the al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan. 3 chapters then take a frank look at state formation, dictatorship, and governance in the region. The final 5 focus on Iraq, before, during, and after the U.S. invasion. Above all, however, this is a book of stories, from unexpected hiccups with my Egyptian girlfriend, to reeling from explosions in the Iran-Iraq war, to enduring 10 weeks trapped in a forgotten, besieged, and famine-struck Sudanese town. Rather than trying to fit every idea into any single political or economic scheme, the artificial, virtual framework that traditional news reporting uses to explain events, I have allowed myself to go with the flow of the truer and more interesting confusion of everyday life. I have tried to create, in these chapters, the sense of plunging into the cumin-heavy vaults of the Aleppo Bazaar, or the edgy back streets of Baghdad, as if you were at my shoulder, so as to communicate as intensely as possible the Middle Eastern reality and vivacious human contact that make the region so addictive to me. Along the way, I show why it was so hard to accurately report my developing understanding of the Middle East to a Western, and especially to an American audience. I was lucky to write for the Wall Street Journal in its golden age. Yet even in this most prestigious of American newspapers, I found it hard to keep my stories out of the ruts of traditional coverage of good moderates versus bad radicals, a misleading focus on the Arab-Israeli peace process that has yet to proceed anywhere, and the way many people overemphasize the role of Islam as an analytical tool in assessing the Middle East. The idiosyncrasies of the region, I believe, are more the product of universal problems of inequality, circumstance, and international politics, not uniquely Middle Eastern religions or ideologies. The lives of Middle Easterners, the majority of them only a generation or two away from an illiterate peasant background, differ greatly from those of Americans and Europeans, especially members of Western elites likely to read newspapers that I wrote for, including the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, and London's Independent. This is not because there is some insoluble clash of civilizations, but because of bridgeable disparities in education, security, prosperity, and expectations. Outsiders find it hard to see that, despite the Middle East's occasional agonies, its people are like any other, and can have fun too. The stress and conflict in media reports are only part of a much larger reality, just as Middle Easterners should realize that the normality of Western countries is not all as presented in Hollywood films and TV sitcoms. I hope that this book allows a wide audience to see the countries of the region in a new and less confrontational light, to hear the voices of its peoples, and sometimes to laugh out loud. Hugh Pope, Istanbul, April 2009. Chapter 1. Mr. Q, I Love You. Oriental Studies meets the Middle East. 2 watermelons can't be held in one hand. Afghan proverb. I urged my gaze back down to the book of Arabic grammar that lay open on my lap. However hard I pressed my lips together, the curling script kept dancing away from me. My eyes went back up to the flimsy door of my hotel room, rattling in its frame. The knocking was growing insistent. I prayed that Jean-Pierre Tieck, the exuberant Frenchman who had persuaded me to visit Syria, would soon return. Over lunch in a faraway houseboat, moored to a grassy canal bank near the River Thames, south of Oxford, Jean-Pierre's wild stories of Eastern adventures had put me under his spell. Now, we lodged on the upper floor of a brothel in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo. He had left on an obscure mission, and as the evening